Hello and welcome back, everyone. My name is Natalie Schlute. I'm your manifestation coach, your spirit guide channeler, and today I am also your psychic training coach. I'm really excited for this episode. I'm going to be giving you the top 5 ways to develop your psychic abilities. This is something that I teach in my online course and academy, level 2. So my level 1 is where I teach manifestation and intuition. Level 2 is where I teach psychic and channeling skills. So this is a really fun one. Psychic abilities are really just on the spectrum of intuition. So it's still how to connect to your higher self, your soul, your intuition. And for those who like to take it further and really go on the deep end, it can develop even further into more psychic abilities. And so it's a really fun subject. It's really important because we are souls first and foremost. We are an energetic being and we are here in this physical body. So our energetic self, our soul self, is connected to everything in the universe of all dimensions of time and space. It has access to all of this information. It's very wise. And this information will also help you manifest whatever it is that you desire as well. So by being able to tap into your intuition, your psychic and channeling skills, you can actually move forward in life potentially faster because you have a higher level of guidance that's leading you towards your manifestations. And that's why I love teaching this. Like I said, I go a lot deeper in my online courses. So if you want to find out when my academy doors open, be sure to get on my email list. They open periodically throughout the year. But in the meantime, here is a wonderful episode for you, and we're going to dive right in with these top 5 tips. Don't forget to check out all the amazing playlists that I have on my YouTube channel. And also subscribe, like, and hit that bell. That way you get notified every single time I have a new episode for you. And you can stay up to date with all of this amazing metaphysical and manifestation education. So the first and most important practice for anyone who's developing their intuition, even with manifestation, but definitely psychic ability work, is to get into a good meditative state. You need to be able to shift your attention, to shift your focus, and to get your mind and your brain waves into an alpha theta brainwave state. And what that is there's a spectrum of brain waves, some that are a little lower and quieter, right? A little slower. That's when we're in a deep sleep. That's our delta brainwave state. And then we've got the higher levels when we're throughout the day talking and learning and experiencing and just living our life. We're in a beta brainwave state. So we're just definitely more high energy, right? And then there's the in between when you're kind of sleepy and you're a little bit tired, but you're still alert and you're still aware and you're still able to focus your mind and attention. That's when we're in the alpha, which is a little closer to the delta sleeping brainwave state, or theta brainwave state. So that's when you're more alert, but just kind of a little shift in your focus and your energy. And so you can imagine yourself when you're really sleepy and tired and completely exhausted. That's going to be a lower brainwave state. Whereas when you're on coffee and caffeine, you're in a much higher brainwave state, right? You have a lot more energy. And so we know that we fluctuate all day long in and out of these different brainwave states. But it's really important if you're going to be doing intuition and psychic channeling work that you are able to tap into and control your brainwave state. You have to train yourself to be able to go in and out of alpha theta over and over again. You have to be able to get there quickly, to hold that state and hold your focus. So in life, this is really important because in everyday life, our focus is typically on the external world, right? On our 3D reality. We're focused on, okay, my checklist, I have to do the laundry, I have to go to the grocery store, okay, I need to cook food, I need to drive to work, I need to go do this, I need to go do that. Your focus in those states is in a beta brainwave state, but you're also focused on the external reality. If you want to learn how to be more intuitive and more psychic, you have to shift your focus away from the physical reality. You have to stop thinking about your grocery list and cooking dinner and you can't be driving. You actually really need to pull yourself out of reality and shift your mind and your focus into, once again, that lower brainwave state when you're in alpha or theta, and then be able to shift away from the physical into the spiritual realm. And this is just a practice and focus. So that's why meditation is absolutely essential. If you want to master psychic training and intuition, you have to meditate. There's no other way around it. It is an absolute. You must be meditating and you must be meditating regularly, if not every single day, every other day, whatever it is. You have to kind of figure out what works best for your life and what your goals are and how much commitment you're going to do to this. But you cannot really get good at psychic evolution if you don't meditate. It's just, you have to train yourself to be able to get there, to hold it, to be able to quiet and open your mind, to be able to shift your focus from the physical world into the spiritual world, where you are then able to connect with and pick up information from the psychic realm, from your higher soul self, from your angels, from your guides, and so forth. And so meditation is a absolute must. With that said, I do have a lot of guided meditations that I use in my online courses for my students. I also sell some of these guided meditations a la carte, meaning you can just buy the guided meditations without joining the coursework. I have a whole psychic package of guided meditations that really train you in going into a crystal cave where you're connecting deeper with your third eye power, ones where you're channeling different chakras and so forth, and doing intuitive questioning practices. And so there's a lot of ways to train, but meditation through guided meditation, and then eventually doing it on your own through the practices that you learn, is the number one most important thing to developing your psychic skills. The second important thing in developing your psychic ability is to declare that you are psychic, that you have these abilities. If you're doubting yourself, if you're questioning yourself and questioning your capabilities, you're always going to be holding yourself back. You actually have to program your subconscious mind to believe that you can do this. It takes practice. I know that there are a lot of psychics out there that say they were just born with it, or it's in their family line and they're just used to it. But for me, I had to work on it. I developed this skill set in my late 20s and early 30s. And I developed this skill set because, one, it was popping up in my life a lot, right? It was happening over and over again. It was kind of sporadic, but I trained myself to be psychic. I got psychic training. I read a lot of books. I did a lot of work every single day for years and years to get to where I am today as a psychic, intuitive, and channeler. And so this is something that anyone can develop, a skill set. It's not that you are or you aren't. There are people that are naturally more. There are people that come into this lifetime with the mission of doing this work. I do believe that I came into this lifetime with the mission of doing this work and of teaching and being a guide, because I've lived so many lifetimes and I've done a lot of work in the spiritual realm in between my lifetimes to train and to be able to guide people on planet Earth at this given time. But understand that this is a skill set that can be built, but you first have to believe that you can do it. So using affirmations and really conceptually believing on a core level that you are capable of developing these skill sets is going to be important. Because if you're constantly doubting yourself and you're constantly questioning yourself, not necessarily, we want to question like the readings that are coming through, because you want to make sure that they're really coming from where you think they are, or versus, just something that you made up in your mind, or whether it's coming from a very clean source, like it's actually coming from an angel versus coming from a low level earth guide that's actually giving you maybe correct or incorrect information, but just not high quality energy that you're channeling. There's different levels, but you still have to believe. You have to believe that you're capable of it, and you have to work at it. And that's really important, because if you're not doing those things, then you're going to get half-assed results, right? If you're not 100% committed, you're not going to get 100% results. It's not something that you can just leisurely think about and every once in a while do. It does need to become a part of your life and a part of who you are and a part of your identity. It took me a little while to accept that this is who I am and make it really a part of my identity, to the point where I was comfortable coming out to the world. And I was working on these skills for years before I opened up to my family, before I opened up to my friends, before I opened up to social media and started talking about the fact that I am psychic and I do have these abilities. But I worked on it for a long time before I ever said anything to anyone. Friends and family kind of knew certain things, but before I really had to make myself become the identity of the version of who I am now in order to fully embrace holistically and unapologetically the fact that I am a psychic, intuitive being. And so I encourage you to do the work, to make it a part of your identity, to believe that it's possible for you. You don't have to tell the world just yet, especially if you haven't developed strong skill sets. But if this is something that you really want, if this is a direction that you genuinely feel called to move in, then it must become part of your subconscious programming. It must become a part of your belief systems and a part of your identity. And that is a piece of the work that you need to do in order to be in alignment with receiving more psychic information. The third way to develop your psychic ability is you have to be able to learn how to raise your vibration. This is really, really important. And what I mean by raise your vibration, it's kind of a general statement and it's kind of a big loaded statement to at the same time, because part of that is healing, right? It's healing your past traumas. It's healing your limiting belief systems. It's learning how to have a happy, positive, faithful mindset throughout the day. It's focusing on the good. It's also not ignoring the bad things, but learning how to process and communicate better and to treat yourself well. Raising your vibration is about how you show up every day for your life. It's everything that you think, it's everything that you feel, and it's everything that you do. All of those things contribute to being a high vibe person. And the reason why this is so important is because you should never, ever try to channel spirit guides or tap into psychic information if you are depressed, feeling anxious, feeling anxiety, if you're not in a good mood, if you're going through a slum, if you're feeling physically exhausted, you have some physical ailments, injuries, chronic pains, things that are going on. You do not want to be tapping into the spiritual world when you are not at peak state. And the reason is things manifest through the law of attraction instantaneously. Literally, snap, it's instant in the non-physical world. In our human world, in the physical reality, it takes a while for things to kind of come together. There's a lag time. But in the spiritual world, it happens instantaneously. So if you're feeling really depressed and then you try to channel some psychic information or channel your spirit guides when you're in a depressed state, you go into the alpha theta state and you start to ask your guides to come through, you're going to draw in some dark stuff. You are going to draw in low-level spirit guides. You're going to draw in guides that give you psychic predictions instead of psychic advice. And so you have to be very cautious and careful with how you are channeling and how you are attempting to build your psychic skills. And so doing the foundational work of healing your mind, body, and soul is really, really important. If you don't do that first, you're going to attract all kinds of crazy stuff. And I know because I've done it, I've also seen it with some of my students. I've seen them attract things that weren't what they thought they were. And it's important to be able to be aware that this is a real thing, that the spiritual world is real, and there are good and bad things in the spiritual world, just like there are good and bad things in the physical world, right? There are good people and there are people that have a lot of problems. Same thing in the spiritual world. There are some really great, beautiful, high-level angels, and they have wonderful information for you, wonderful love and guidance. And then there are also spirit guides that are kind of the earthly realm that have a lot of old energy and unresolved issues, and they're going to give you predictions and they're going to do things, and they might mess and interfere with your energetic system, and you won't know it. So it's important that you really do the inner work to clear yourself out, to clear yourself of all your old gunk, to be doing regular energy clearing, to be healing your mindset, your emotions, and your body so that you are a clear channel and raising your vibration so that when you do go into the spiritual world, when you do try to use your psychic skills, you are only reaching for the highest level spirit guides and angels. You are only reaching for the beautiful angelic realm where they are going to be giving you the most positive, amazing feedback on how to better live your life, on how to better manifest what you want. The high level guides, they will not give you predictions. They're not going to be telling you what's going to happen in the future. What they will do is tell you how to get to your manifestations. They will tell you, hey, do this, this, and this. These are the things that are going to help you. This is how to live a healthier life. This is how to heal your body. This is how to heal your soul. This is what you need to do in order to accelerate getting the results that you want so you can live your best life. That's the kind of amazing information that will come through for you if you're raising your vibration and then doing your channeling. And so it's really, really important. The reason why I've designed all of my coursework the way I did, with level 1 being manifestation and intuition mastery, is because you need that core work, that core foundation before you ever attempt to go into the spiritual realm, because you don't know what you're picking up on. And often what also happens is if you pick up on some negative energies or things that you didn't want to be picking up on, that stuff can sometimes stick to you, can stay in your auric field, especially if you're not doing a lot of energy clearing practices, a lot of psychic clearing practices, a lot of angel work. And so there's a lot more that goes into it that I can't explain all in one episode, but I want you to know you must raise your vibration, because that is going to help you develop high level psychic abilities far faster and far cleaner with less complications and less issues in the long run. The fourth recommendation for you on developing your psychic abilities is to have a daily intuition practice. What I mean by intuition is your intuition is your soul self, right? Your energetic part of you speaking to your physical body. We have a physical human body, and then we have our soul. Our soul is love, light, has lived many lifetimes, very wise. And anytime you're channeling anything in the spiritual realm, whether you're channeling psychic predictions, whether you're channeling angels and spirit guides and so forth, all of those light beings are first talking to your soul, and then your soul relays that information into your brain and into your body, into your physical body. And so the first way, if we are going to reverse that, right, we're receiving from an angel, and then the angel speaks to the soul, and then the soul brings it into the body and into the brain, and we hear it through our physical body. Now we just need to reverse that. So we need to focus our brain power into connecting to your soul self, right? Connecting to your intuition. And then from there, once you get really good at that connection, well, now it's super easy to channel anything else because all of those beings are talking to your soul, and you know how to talk to your soul. So doing intuition work every day where you actually sit down, I have an entire intuitive practice that I teach all my students. And I also have an episode, I think it's called Steps to Follow Your Intuition. Check out that episode because it gives the step-by-step guide on how to do this work. This is something that I did every single day for, I think, 3 years, and it really helped me with my psychic and channeling skills. And then it's still something that I just naturally do every day. It's such a habit now. But ask your soul questions every day. And I'm not talking about questions about predictions for the future. I'm saying, hey, soul, maybe not in those words, but I usually say calling God, my higher self, angels, spirit guides, and loved ones, all and only in the highest love and light, help guide me today and support me in my life. And then I'll ask a question like, what can I do today to be calmer? What can I do today to be healthier? What can I do today to take one step closer towards my manifestations or towards my goals? What's one thing I can do to open up psychically more today? What's one thing I can do to be more spiritually attuned? Whatever it is, ask something really positive to your soul, your higher soul self, and ask something that's going to guide you today, something that's going to help you move the needle forward just a little bit faster. And by doing this work day after day, you will start to build that connection and be able to eventually hear either the voice or a knowing or a feeling from your soul that allows you to know what the answer is. And again, the step-by-step practice is in that other episode. It's a little bit long. I'm not going to get into it here, but this is the practice. I'm basically explaining it. I just explained it in a little bit more detail in that other episode. And so this is the practice that you want to do. Start connecting every day to your intuition. In the beginning, you may not get all that much information. You may do it every day, and maybe once a week you actually get an answer. And maybe other times it's twice a week. But eventually it'll be every other day, and then suddenly it's every day, and then suddenly it's every single time that you ask your soul a question, you get the answer. And that's how you build that relationship. You build that skill set by doing it over and over again, by getting quiet, by getting into that meditative alpha theta wave state, right? Because that's your number one. Number two is actually raising your vibration and getting into that high level state, and then channeling your soul, your higher soul self through this intuitive practice. And by doing these steps over and over again, you start to build your psychic and your intuitive abilities. And this is how you can start to grow your spiritual awareness and your spiritual guidance, because all of this intuitive and psychic work where you're channeling your higher self is guiding you in your life. It's really there to be this wise, amazing power that's the driving force between you reaching all of your goals and all of your manifestations. And so that's the beauty of all this psychic work that we're doing. And with all of that said, don't forget that your intuition comes in a variety of ways. It comes through all of your different clairsenses: clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, clairempath, claircognizance. Some people get clairalience and clairgustance, clairtangency as well, physical sensations. So there's a lot of ways that we receive psychic information through our physical senses. And that's something to keep in mind as well as you go through this process. And the fifth way to develop your psychic abilities is to start being aware of energy in your environment. When you're out and about, just start to notice other people's energy. Start to notice their emotional state. Start to see if you can feel into what they're feeling in their body. When you're walking through a crowd, just start to notice what's going on. Feel the energy of places. right? You can go into an antique store and you can actually pick up objects and just start to feel what's going on. See if you can intuitively pick up any piece of information, whether it's an emotion or a heaviness or a darkness or a lightness or a happiness. Like everything carries energy, and psychic information is all energy. And so every object that you pick up, whether you're, out in nature and you're touching a tree, see if the tree gives you information. Have your feet on the sand, see if the earth is giving you information. Go ahead and touch a flower and see if there's information or a vibrational frequency that you're picking up. You might pick up an energy, an emotion, anything. They might actually talk to you. I've been talking to plants, trees, and rocks for decades. And it was funny, the first time I mentioned it to someone, I was like, oh yeah, the rocks talk to me, and they just had been. The rocks have always talked to me, and it was to a metaphysician. She's like, oh yeah, that's a real thing. I'm like, oh, okay, great. That was like way back in the beginning of my journey. But either way, start playing around with feeling out energy, with feeling out psychic information. See if you can channel wisdom from the earth, from earth realm things. See if you can pick up information from objects, from places, from people, and just open up your awareness. Just practice opening up and seeing if you can tap into something more than just the physical world. When you're looking at someone, instead of just looking at their body, see if you can see their energy. See if you can feel their energy. See if you can feel their emotions, and start playing with that a little bit, because that's really where we then take the actual practices that we've been doing and apply it to real life, is by opening up our awareness to all that's existing simultaneously in the reality that we're living in. And so that's a really fun thing to play with. There's lots of ways to go about doing that. And as a bonus for you, I know I've already given you your 5 psychic development exercises and practices, but I felt like this is a really, really important one. So this is kind of 6, but it's just a bonus. It is absolutely essential and important that you are consistently doing psychic clearing, that you are clearing your energy field, that you are cutting cords, that you are balancing your chakras and your auras, that you are opening your third eye, that you are psychically moving things out of your energy field and protecting yourself. Call in the angels, call in your high level spirit guides to help protect you and cleanse you and clear you consistently. The reason is psychic and spiritual work is very dirty. It is dirty because everything is mixing and meshing. The energetic world, there's not like a finite end to it. Everything is crossing over each other. And when you pull things in, you also have to get it out, right? And because it's non-physical, you don't see it. I'm not sitting here and like looking at all these little things that are floating around in my auric field, but you only see it when you pay attention to it. You only notice it when you go and do the energy clearing practices. People are so gunked up in their aura and in their chakra system, and they're holding on to all kinds of things, and they may have energies and entities attached to them and not even know it, simply because they're not looking for it. They're not paying attention to the fact that they have all this gunk attached to them in the energetic field and in the energetic realm. And so the clearing work is so important because it can get very, very dirty very, very quickly when you start doing psychic and intuitive practices and things like this. All this psychic work, all this channeling work, it is a very dirty, very messy world to be playing with, and you need to be aware of that. You need to know that, and you need to be regularly cleansing and clearing yourself in order to stay protected and in order to stay a clear channel for continuing to channel higher and higher things. And so it's absolutely essential. You don't want to be doing any of this work without it. With this type of skill, it's an elevated skill set, right? Not every human being does this. Not everyone's willing to put the time and effort and energy into learning this stuff. And if you're going to do it, you have to do it all. You really do have to commit 100% not only to your progress and your practice, but also to the maintenance, your hygiene, right? Your spiritual hygiene of cleansing and clearing yourself, because that is what's going to keep you safe. It's what's going to keep you protected. It's what's going to keep you elevating yourself mentally, emotionally, energetically, and spiritually to tap into higher and better quality things over time. And so consistency is really important for not only all of these practices, but also your energy clearing hygiene. And so keep that in mind. I do have, again, a lot of guided meditations that guide you through this. Whether you can find them on my website, in my meditation shop, there's a whole bundle that's specifically on energy clearing and healing. But I also teach all of this in my level 1 and level 2 Step Into Your Power Academy. So be sure to get on the wait list if you want to learn more about some of this stuff. If you want to join the academy, get group coaching with me, that's all included so that you can learn how to truly be in your power, how to master all of these elements from the ground up and stay safe and elevate your skills as quickly as possible and really tap into this beautiful realm of wonderful things that can help guide you in the spiritual, psychic, channeling realm. You know, I'll always call in your angels. That's something everyone can do any given day to help support you, protect you, cleanse you, clear you, and guide you. So working with those angels is really important. It's one of the best things you can do in the psychic and spiritual realm. So I hope you had a great time, learned a lot. If you have any questions on this content, be sure to put them in the show notes below. Or if there's certain things that you want to learn and you want to hear more about, share all of that too. I'm more than happy to hear what you have to say and start creating more content that is specialized towards what you want to learn and how you want to evolve in your own spiritual and physical growth as well on this planet Earth. If you absolutely love this content, be sure to give it a like. And if you want to hear more from me, go ahead and subscribe and also hit that bell, because all of your interactions on here help to push this information out into the world to help more people on this beautiful planet that we live in. If you want to binge watch more of my amazing content, go over to my YouTube channel or check out these playlists that I have here for you, all on spirituality, manifestation, psychic intuitive work, and so much more.